Commanders hire Dan Quinn to match with their new general manager, Adam Peters, to lead this franchise into the future.
The way that we live is not for everybody, okay? It's not, all right? Because we're going to run and put our bodies on people in a violent manner.
Whether the team is giving us the highest of highs or the blues, we'll cover it all here on Commanders Nightly News. I, of course, am your host, Louie T. Thank you for joining me. Let's get to tonight's lead story. So, I've been adamant this week that Jayden Daniels is not going to play on Sunday versus the Chicago Bears. And so many of you have been adamant in the opposite direction that he is, in fact, going to play. Someone went as far as to say he's not only going to practice on Friday, he's going to play on Sunday. And I so hope you're right and I'm wrong here. I want to be wrong. I truly, truly do. I want you guys to be right. I want him to play because I not only want to bust the Bears' ass, I want him to get their ass kicked with Jayden Daniels being the one doing the ass kicking, right? Send that message home to Bears fans even much more so because it will hurt them 20 times more if the ass kicking comes from 5 than it does from 18, right? So I just want to win the game, but first and foremost, right? Let me be clear about this. I just want to win the game. And doesn't matter who's quarterbacking. I just want to win, but I prefer it to be 5, right? I think we all feel that way. So I hope he plays in this game. I hope I'm wrong. I hope you guys are right. I still don't think he's playing in this game, by the way. However, I do want to say this. The job that the Commanders have done with this whole is he or isn't he going to play, even down to the point of not divulging what the actual injury is, has been masterfully executed and is a masterclass on how you play a game of mental warfare with your opponent heading into a big game coming up. Every game's a big game. I don't want to put any more on this game than it deserves because, again, had this been Jacksonville, it still would have been a big game because we need to win it, right? It's a little bit bigger for us as fans because we want to stick it to the Bears fans. But at the end of the day, I just want to win because it's an NFC opponent. It's the next game on the schedule, and I want to stay in first place in the division. There are a multitude of reasons outside of these ignoramus Bear fans that I want to win this game, but I also really want to win to stick it to them as well, as much as most of you do as well. And also, we owe these bitches from last year. This is a revenge game. There's so many things that are layered on top of this game. However, everything comes back to 5 at the end of the day. And if he doesn't play, I'm fine with it as long as we still find a way to go out and get the dub. I think it's even more disrespectful if we're able to beat the Bears without him. But I want to rub it in their face that the guy that you said stink and isn't better than your guy is the one that beat the shit out of you and sent you back packing to the Midwest with an L. That's what I want. But whatever actually happens here, whatever ends up being the case on Sunday, you couldn't have played it any better than the Commanders have. This shit was beautifully executed from the day the injury occurred and him coming back on the sidelines and, being essentially a politician, waving to the fans and greeting guys after the game and kind of going through the normal spiel, right? And him not addressing the media, Marcus addressing the media after the game. Obviously, he should have. Marcus addressing the media on Wednesday. Everything, all signs point to Marcus starting. Marcus has practiced all week. He's taken most of the reps. Jayden practiced just a wee bit today. DQ said that they pushed him, right? And that might be the case. They might have fully made him go through everything. But there's no way of knowing if he's truly ready to go or not because he hasn't been hit and he's not going to be hit in practice. The fact that the media was out there for the early portion and he wasn't out there. Now, DQ had an answer for that. We'll get to that when we talk about what DQ had to say. Everything they've done, again, this goes back to the point that I've made that every button that they pushed this offseason into the regular season, right, has been the right button. And this week, they've pressed every right button. Every right button. From him not practicing Wednesday, Thursday to then practicing Friday, even if he has no intentions of playing, that's how you do it. Because if he didn't practice all week, you can draw the inference here, right? DQ said everything right in his press conference. Hey, we pushed him hard. We'll monitor him over the next 48 hours and we'll take this thing up to game time and we'll see how he feels. He said everything right. The Bears have no idea who's playing in this game. Now, there's not that much difference between Jaden and Marcus in terms of how you're going to attack us, right? Because the game plan really doesn't change. They're very similar quarterbacks. It's not like it's two totally different quarterbacks, and now you got to put in a specific game plan for one and the other. However, Jaden is a different animal, as we know. And if it's Jaden, you got to rewire your brain to say, hey, we got to approach this a little bit different. If it's Marcus, hey, it's plenty of film out there. You know what Marcus is at this point of his career. You know the things he does well, the things that he doesn't well. You know how to pressure him. There's more data out there on how you can affect Marcus Mariota. But you still got to stop it within the confines of this Cliff Kingsbury offense. Still, the way they've handled this, whether he plays or not, chef's kiss. I love it. It's just another small detail of a brand new organization that gets it. It's another show of proof. It's another piece of evidence that we have adults, real, responsible adults running the operation. And man, is this shit refreshing. This week has been excellent. They've handled everything perfectly. Now it's just a matter of is he or will he or won't he? I guess we all have to wait till Sunday to find out. But whatever happens, they've handled this as flawlessly as a team can to play mental warfare, to mind F the Bears. You can't do it any better. Touche, Commanders. Touche. In other news, got a number of topics that we have to address today. Got some tickets to give away, so we'll do that here in a bit. Got to get to the injury report. We're going to talk about what DQ said. Most of his 7-minute presser was about Jaden Daniels, as you could imagine. So we'll get into that. Not a lot was, gleamed from that other than, he practiced, right? And there's a chance he could play. So you're telling me there's a chance. All right. And so we'll get to what DQ had to say. I want to talk about Terry and the mic'd up. I'm pretty sure most of you have seen that already. It was awesome, like 9 minutes of awesomeness. So we'll talk about that. But first thing I want to do is I want to wish a happy 26th born day to my guy, Jack. And this is from his girlfriend, Riley, who loves you very much. And she says, happy born day. And from me and the rest of the mob and every other Commanders fan out there, to you, Jack, happy 26th birthday. And guess what? The good guys are going to go get you a dub for your birthday coming up. Your birthday is tomorrow. Well, we're blessing you with an early birthday gift today. And then the Commanders are going to bless you with a birthday gift the day after. So it's all about you this weekend, Jack. Happy 26th birthday. Big shout out to Riley for making this thing happen. So with that said, let's jump into the final injury report for both teams, starting with the good guys. So as you can see, nothing really here. Like, this is a good injury report. Like, we've had good injury reports this season, right? And here's another one. I told you Brandon Coleman was out. That's not a surprise. Hasn't practiced all week. Sustained a concussion on Sunday. The question is, will he be back next week? How severe was the concussion? How severe are his symptoms stemming from that concussion, et cetera, and the side effects? We'll see, right? Jaden Daniels didn't practice the first 2 days of the week, was limited today, but DQ said they pushed him. They went all systems go on him, and they want to see how his body responds tomorrow, all right? So obviously the next 48 hours will be key as to whether he's able to go or not. He's listed as questionable. Everyone else, with the exception of Dorrance Armstrong, who also, coincidentally enough, is dealing with a rib injury. Did not play last week. Was limited all week in practice. He's listed as questionable, but I feel so much better. Here's the one thing that I wasn't sure about. Cleveland Farrell, who missed practice yesterday. Clee practiced today. DQ said everything's fine with Clee. He actually came into this week's worth of practice feeling a lot better than last week. So remember, he returned to the lineup against the Ravens, and he's feeling even better than he was going into the Ravens game when he hadn't even played for 3 weeks. So that's a good sign. I'm thinking yesterday's DMP was more about rest. Like, hey, let's just take a little bit off of Clee and make sure he's ready to go for Sunday. And that's a big one. Especially if Dorrance can't go, we need Clee, right? If Dorrance can go and you have Clee as well, you're at full strength on the defensive line, something we haven't had probably since week 3, maybe, right? I think week 3 was the last time Clee played. He didn't make the trip to Arizona, didn't play against the Browns. He didn't play against the Cardinals. He didn't play against the Browns. I think he didn't play against Cincinnati. I think the Giants game was his last game, but whatever the case may be, good to know Clee's going to play. DQ said Clee's all ready to go. So as you can see, no other issues. Tyler Owens will be back for the first time in almost a month. He was dealing with that shin. Good to see him flying around on special teams. I think that's going to be a sight to behold there. And maybe that might not be a good thing for a guy like Derek Forrest, who, when Tyler Owens was healthy, was a healthy scratch. Derek might be a healthy scratch this week, being that Tyler Owens may be back in the mix, but we'll see about that. But obviously, the big news here is Jaden Daniels, questionable after practicing for the first time this week. Dorrance Armstrong, also questionable after practicing on a limited basis all week. So that's good news that we may have 2 of our big-time starters back in the lineup for the Bears game. Looking at the ops, this is a big one. Neither of those 2 big defensive backs are playing in this game. Safety Jaquan Brisker remains out with the concussion, hadn't practiced all week. Kyler Gordon, their nickel defensive back, also out of this game with a hamstring injury. So I was not expecting to get any gifts after the bye week. I was expecting everybody to be healthy, the Bears to be all systems go, and they still, pretty much will be. But those are 2 big names on the defensive side of the football for them. So it just gives us even more ability to take advantage of their defense. We were going to do it anyway, and this definitely helps us. Everybody else probably going to play. You got 3 guys that are questionable: Jacob Martin, Larry Borum, and Travis Homer. But again, the impact of those guys probably minimal at best. At the end of the day, those guys are probably going to play. So, some potential big injuries on both sides, but right now ours feels like it could be non-existent. Theirs definitely out, right? So that's a good look for the good guys. Anyhow, let's talk about DQ real quick. DQ basically spent 7 minutes talking about Jaden Daniels, as you would expect. First thing he did was he gave us the captains. I miss who the offensive captain is. I think it's an offensive lineman, but the way they set the interview up, they always cut off the first 30 seconds on YouTube. I don't even know what that's about. It really gets on my nerves. So the first 30 seconds wasn't there. So by the time it starts the interview on YouTube, he's essentially talking about that guy, but you've already missed his name. He said it's something to do with the offensive line. So my guess is it's not going to be Wiley. He's already been a captain. Because I would assume you would go through the entire line before you run back around and put somebody else back up there again for a second time. So my guess is Cosme just was the captain, so I don't think it's him. I think Biotish has already been one. So I'm thinking it's Allegretti or it's Cornelius Lucas. My guess is it's Allegretti. I don't know who it is. Special teams wise, it's Jeremy Reeves And on the defensive side, it's going to be Jeremy Chin. So he talked about the captains first, then he addressed the Jaden Daniels situation, said he practiced today. They really, really put, a lot on his plate, really put him through the full ringer, essentially, and really made him work to try to stress his body to see how he responds to that workload, to make him make every throw, to get him out of the pocket, moving. They wanted him to be out there and have to do the second reaction plays, to be Jaden Daniels, like he said, be fully turned up, as our coach said, as DQ said so eloquently on Wednesday. We need Jaden to be, himself and fully turned up. And if he can't be that, then he doesn't need to be out there, right? So that's what today was about. We'll see if, him being fully turned up today leads to him feeling good enough to be fully turned up tomorrow and into Sunday eventually. But, he talked about the process, crawl, walk, run. Wednesday was him crawling. Thursday was him walking. Today was him, walking. And then, hopefully Sunday he can run, right? So we'll see what happens if, in fact, he's able to go. They talked about, the workload. He wasn't out there when the media was out there for the initial portion of practice. So he's like, well, he was getting extra core work done, extra core strengthening work done. So, we made sure that while he was doing that, we were just stretching. And by the time we were ready to get into that team stuff, he was ready to join the team so he could get out there and get those reps. So, but all signs point to him having a legitimate shot to play on Sunday. I just, like I said earlier, I just think the way they've handled this has been, beautiful. Like you can't really do it any better than what they've done, because everything's kind of shrouded in mystery, even down to the actual extent of the injury. All we know, it's a rib. It's probably just bruised, but at the end of the day, we don't even know what it is specifically, And then Jaden spoke to the media today, and he just said it's just something around my ribs, right? Like I'm pretty sure they coached him like, hey, do not disclose what the injury is, right? And don't tell them if you're playing or not, because I'm pretty sure he knows if he's playing or not. Like, I get it. They want to see how his body responds, but they got an inkling as to what they're going to do. Just like when they were drafting Jaden, they knew what they were going to do with the number 2 pick, because everybody already knew what the Bears were doing at number 1. They knew what they were doing at number 2. They just weren't going to disclose that information, right? They know if he's playing or not on Sunday. They just aren't going to disclose that information. Jaden looked like he had this really, but that's his look though. So I can't really, I try to read in between the lines. I try to read body language, but that's his demeanor, like that little sneaky, devious smirk. That's Jaden's thing, right? So that nefarious smirk that he gave when they asked, are you playing on Sunday? And he's like, it's really not up to me. And then, you got to walk the tightrope of, well, if I do play or whoever plays, you got to say the right thing, because if you slip up once, gotcha, right? And the media is looking for that aha, gotcha moment. I remember a scrum last week before the Steelers game, the media was talking to George Pickens, and he was talking about getting extra reps with Russell Wilson, because he's like, first of all, the head coach had already told the media, I know who's starting, but I'm not going to tell you, right? So he already knows who's starting. I'm not going to tell you. And then George Pickens steps up to the media and says, yeah, I've been getting extra reps with Russell Wilson this week because he's starting on Sunday. And the media was like, oh, he's starting? And then he tried to walk it back. It's too late, right? Cat's out of the bag. So you really got to be careful on how you go about saying stuff. And he did a really good job of tightroping that, did Jaden. And DQ was, extra stealthy as well. It's gonna be fun. He talked about Klee. He talked about Brandon Coleman. Obviously Coleman's out. Klee is in. No one asked him about Dorrance. I don't think that would have been something I would have asked him about. But it was really about Jaden. And he pretty much said, look, we've done everything we needed to do to get him prepared. And now the question is, how does he feel come Sunday? If he feels good and we feel good about how he feels, then we'll turn him loose. And Jaden's like, they asked him, is it more of a pain tolerance thing? Is it more, is it, range of movement, what exactly is the deal? And he's like, it's a little bit of all of that. Some of it, I got to suck it up. Some of it is, it's a little discomforting when I do this or do that. And if that's the case, maybe he shouldn't be out there, right? Which is why I still don't think he's playing on Sunday. But I love the mental warfare that's going on. I do enjoy that thoroughly from this team. They've executed it beautifully this week. Let's talk about Terry's mic'd up real quick before we get to the ticket giveaway. That thing was awesome. 9 minutes and some change of pure awesomeness. Terry's this is why we love Terry McLaurin. This is why we're so excited. I don't think as a fan base, we're more excited for an individual player than we are Terry McLaurin. I think I speak for the entire fan base. I don't like doing that. But I don't think we've been more excited for any one player. We come first. I'm going to be honest. As fans, we come first. We've suffered longer than any player, any coach, any executive, anybody that's in this organization. We've suffered longer than all of them. None of them have been here for the entire ride. Okay? Maybe Doug Williams, and he's been other places. He was at Grambling. He's been around. He hasn't been suffering the entire time like we have. So we come first. But after us, when you start talking about the players that have been here, that have endured all of the losing and all of the changes and the Snyder era, and they had to be infected with that as well, like we did. We're not happier for a single player more so than Terry McLaurin. This guy is enjoying himself, and you can tell that he's having a blast because it feels different because it is different. How many times during that mic'd up did you hear Terry say, man, this is fun. I'm having fun. This is I don't think in his entire career, he's been able to have the head coach come over to him and say, hey, man, appreciate you. You're done today, right? I'm pulling you. I don't think he's ever had a coach do that. How many times since Terry got here in 2019, how many times have we whooped some team's ass good enough for the coach to come over and say, you're done for the day? He's had that happen probably 2 or 3 times this season. Definitely against Cleveland. Definitely against Carolina, which is the game he was mic'd up for. I'm not sure if it got out of control fast enough in Arizona for him to come out, because Jaden didn't even come out of that game, if I recall. So I don't think he came out of that one in particular, but he probably came out of Cleveland and Carolina. And that's fun. When the shit turns into a preseason game, in a regular season game, and you're on the right side of it, that's a lot of fun. And he was turned up for DFJ. He was talking about, he went up to him and he was like, hell yeah. And he's like, man, he clowning. He clowning today, man. DFJ went off in the game, obviously. And it's just so fun to see the love from everybody. And he's always so happy for Diami. You see the love he has for Diami. I think he sees a lot of himself in Diami in terms of, being an underdog, coming out of college. Diami, didn't have a ton of fanfare, and he was a 3rd round pick, just like Terry was. I think he sees a lot of himself in Diami in terms of that nature. Diami's willing to do whatever he's got to do, right? Diami plays special teams. Terry was willing to play special teams when we drafted him. That's what we thought his calling card was going to be when we drafted him, until Jay Gruden was like, oh, hell no. This dude here, this Terry McLaurin dude, nah, he's a dog as a receiver. His special team days are over, right? I think he sees a lot of himself in Diami, and he wants Diami to blossom, right? And you see the love he has for Diami, and I just love the type of teammate Terry is. And then, the whole warm and fuzzies at the end where, the kid had the, jersey, and he's like, yo, go get the jersey. I'm going to sign it for him. And give him these. And gave him some gloves. He's like, I heard you the whole game. And then, he was feeling the love. I love that he's feeling the love. When DQ pulled him, you heard the crowd behind him, Terry. He's like, yo, I love that, right? Terry cusses a lot. I didn't realize he cussed as much as he does, which is cool. I love it, right? I think because he's such a good dude, I'm like this. People take my kindness for weakness sometimes, and sometimes you just got to pop out and show people. Like, you got to let them know, hey, under this exterior, right? This nice guy. It's not a facade. I'm a nice guy. But under this, there's a dog. There's a wolf. All right, there's a wolf inside. Don't get it twisted. You can get your ass torn to shreds. And that's Terry McLaurin, right? Love the competitor. Love it. If you haven't watched that mic'd up, do yourself a favor. It's one of the best ones that they've put out ever. Not just this year, ever. Let's get to this ticket giveaway, man. Good luck to everyone. Hashtag, let's go bear hunting. All right, so congratulations to the two winners. You have the first winner. You have 48 hours to claim these tickets. So really 24, not 48. 48 would put us at Sunday. We're a little bit further behind. Normally, I do this on Thursday, and then you got until Saturday to claim. But you got until Saturday at right around this time. So you got 24 hours to claim the tickets. DM me. You can email me at Louie T Network at louietnetwork@gmail.com, or you can DM me on X, right? Say, hey, I won the tickets. I'll verify it's you, and then we'll get to the proceedings, and I'll go ahead and get through to the process of transferring. If I don't hear from you by 6 o'clock tomorrow, then goes to the second winner, my guy Swaggy P. So get at me if you want these two tickets to the Bears games, because we making sure we putting Commanders' asses in seats. That's what we do, right? So congratulations. And look forward to giving away tickets to the next home game versus the Steelers. We already had some tickets donated to the mob, and I'm going to give a big shout out when that time comes to the person that donated the tickets. So we ready. Let's get it, right? So let's get to the game plan for this game and what needs to happen. Let's get to the keys to victory. We'll start with the offensive keys as we customarily do. The first offensive key to beating the Chicago Bears: be you. Do what you do. That's the first key. And I say this every week, but I can't be any more blunt than that, right? The one game that we've lost in the last month and a half, we didn't stay true to our identity, right? We didn't run the ball. We didn't control the clock. We didn't convert on third downs. We didn't win time of possession because we didn't do what we do, right? We didn't stay true to who we have been this season. We are in the midst of forming one hell of an identity, right? But it is not completely forged. We have to continue. The consistency is what sets an identity and sets it in stone, right? And it's almost like we're kind of laying the foundation, right? We're mixing the concrete right now, and we're getting ready to put it down and smooth it out. Like, we know who we are now. It's about making sure we establish that week after week so that the opponent knows this is who we are, right? The Ravens game is the only game that we weren't able to do that. And I think if we do the things that we know we're capable, we scored 31 points a game for a reason, right? Be who you are, right? Be you. Do what you do. Convert on third downs. That run-pass ratio needs to stay intact. We run the ball more than we throw it, all right? We need to win time of possession. You convert on third downs, you will do that. And we need to score points. That's what we do. That's who we've been. That's who we are. Do it again on Sunday. Wash, rinse, repeat. Next offensive key, protect the quarterback and the Duke. This is no more important than this week. This has never been more important. Specifically because if Jaden plays, we can't let him take hits. This is not the week he needs to get hit. He definitely needs to be protected if he plays. But I still want him to be Jaden. They still need to call those designed runs. All of that stuff needs to happen. If he's going to go out there, then you have to be able to call the game as you normally would. You can't put him out there if he's compromised or you don't feel like you can get into all of your bag of tricks. He doesn't need to be out there. Then put Marcus in there, right? I don't want a compromised version of this offense because you're trying to protect Jaden. Jaden needs to be able to protect himself. The offensive line needs to be able to protect him if he plays. And you still need to be able to call whatever it is you think is the right call for that particular situation. But if he doesn't play, you really need to protect Marcus Mariota because this is the type of defense that Marcus will do some stupid shit under duress, throw it up for grabs, and it'll get picked off, right? This ain't the week to have the O-line breakdowns in protection. The Bears can get after the quarterback, but they're not dynamite, all right? We've seen better pass rushes than theirs this season. The Giants, for instance, much better pass rush than the Bears. But they're a good pass rush. They're way better than Carolina. That shit we saw last week, that wasn't even a real NFL pass rush. That shit we saw against Arizona, this pales in comparison, right? This is more on the lines of Cleveland and the Giants and those pass rushes that we've seen. And even Baltimore to a lesser degree because Baltimore rushes as a unit and does a great job, right? But we can protect, and we have to, especially if Marcus is under center. Because Jaden, even if shit breaks down, he can protect himself. He can get out of there. He can extend. Marcus, shit can get a little bit troublesome if you force him to have to do things that aren't within his comfort zone. And he can move. He's no stiff back there. But understand that shit can go sideways real quick. Protect the Duke. This is a team that turns it over. They force turnovers. This is the best team at creating turnovers that we've faced all season long. We didn't turn it over against the Ravens, right? We turned it over twice against Cleveland, and that was unnecessary. Neither of those turnovers needed to happen. This is the best turnover team we've faced all season long. But we're great at taking care of the ball. Prove it. Prove it. Win that battle. Protect the quarterback. Whomever it is, protect the Duke. Next offensive key. Score in the red zone, all right? Specifically, let me be more specific. I want points. Every time we have a chance to score. If it's got to be a field goal, fine. I want touchdowns. We have not, I gave you the statistic last week. We have not been good in the red zone at home, and last week didn't help the cause. We were 3 of 6 in the red zone last week. We came into the game last week scoring at a 57% clip in the red zone. 85% on the road. We're almost automatic on the road. At home, 25%. 25%. And then we go 50% on Sunday versus Carolina. We have to score in the red zone, and I'm not talking field goals. I'll take it if I have to settle, right? I want points, but I want touchdowns. That's what wins games in this league. Want to know why we're blowing teams out? No, want to know why we're scoring 31 points a game? Because we're finding pay dirt. We need to find it more consistently at home. Here's another opportunity to do that. Get in the red zone, score touchdowns. I need, and just a side note, no less than 3 total touchdowns scored in this game. You can score more if you like. You can't score less than 3 touchdowns. Now you're floating around in the Bears' wheelhouse. If we turn it up, they can't keep up with us. They're not that type of offense. So you turn the nozzle all the way up and you want to go score 34, 37 like we accustomed to doing, they can't keep up with that pace. You turn the nozzle down, though. You score 2 touchdowns, you kick 3 field goals, you score 23 points. You're right in the Bears' wheelhouse and you're setting yourself up to get beat. You score 3 touchdowns because we score more than 3 times in this game. If 3 scores are touchdowns and then you got another 3, scores that are field goals, that should get the job done. That's 30 points. That should get the job done. You score 4 touchdowns and 2 field goals, that's 34 points. That'll definitely get the job done. But you got to score 3 touchdowns, bare minimum. Pun intended. Last offensive key, out physical the Bears. They think they're going to come in here, punk us, bitch slap us, push us around in our own crib like they did last year. I hope they understand this ain't last year. What you got last year, you ain't getting this year. I hope they know. Maybe they don't, but they finna find out, right? A lot of shit looks the same, right? Same stadium, colors look the same, wearing the same jersey. Yeah, a lot of shit looks the same, but the energy is different, right? The name of the stadium's changed, the quarterback's changed, the play call has changed, the head coach has changed, the swag has changed, and oh yeah, the records changed too. We got one of them ones back there. That shit changed too. And we got a defense that's starting to hunt. That shit changed too. I hope they're aware of what they walking into. They think they're going to come in here and punch us in the mouth because they, quote unquote, physical. You know what? Let's get physical. Let's get physical with their ass then. Out physical the Bears. Punch these bastards in the mouth and show them who the real monsters are. You think you're a monster of the Midway? Let's send their ass packing back to the Midwest with this L. And let's do it physically. You transition to the defensive side of the football. You can run on these boys. Like, you can run on them. Be physical. We can run on them. Defensive key number 1. Limit the run in the screen game. They have been a better offense the last 3 games because the run game has come to life and the screen game has been a crutch for Caleb Williams, right? It's taken a ton of pressure off of him. He's a lot more comfortable because every rookie quarterback needs assistance from the run game. I don't give a shit who you are. And he didn't have a run game early in the season, and he struggled mightily because of it. Then teams were able to tee off, get pressure on him on 3rd and longs, and he realized real quick, this ain't USC. Well, when the run game starts to work, you take pressure off of him, not in these long down and distance situations. He starts to get comfortable, and all of a sudden, he's looking like the number 1 overall pick. You want him to revert back to the guy that he was in the first 3 weeks of the season? Stop the run game. Don't give up any big chunks in the screen game and make him earn every goddamn thing he gets and make him have to convert on 3rd and longs and see if the offensive line of the Bears can hold up. Stop the run. Shut down. And we know we can struggle on screens from time to time. So I hope they're ready for this screen game because it's coming. Next defensive key, 4th, 3rd, and longs, and keep Caleb bottled up. So if you stop the run, you don't give up anything on the screen games, I really like our chances to get them in 3rd and long. And if they get to 3rd and long, now Caleb has to drop back, and I don't think their offensive line is very good, and I think we can get pressure. Here's the thing. You can't let him out of the pocket. He thinks he's Houdini, and he's got the capability to make you look silly, right? I've seen him do it this season. So if you can keep him bottled up, you got a chance for turnovers. You got a chance for intentional grounding. You got a chance for these long-ass sacks because he's going to try to make something happen. He's not mentally developed to the point yet where, hey, they got us on this one. I'm going to live to fight another day. He's going to try to make a play. It's just in his DNA. And he can and he will if you allow him to. So you got to get him to 3rd and long. You got to pressure him. And then once he thinks, oh, shit, pressure's coming, I got to get out of here, you can't let him get out. Or it could be a long day for you. And they got weapons. You got a beast tight end, a bunch of receivers, a dynamic back out of the backfield as a pass catcher. It's a lot of dudes that can hurt you on that offense. Don't let Caleb Williams and his legs be one of them. Next defensive key, limit the explosives and communicate. Last time we saw DJ Moore, the shit was an atrocity. I still have nightmares of DJ Moore doing what he did to us last year. 230 yards and 3 touchdowns. I was screaming no mas after that game. So we know they can go up top. Can't let it happen. Anything they get in this game, they got to earn it. Because I look at a rookie like Caleb and a guy that's turned it over this year, and I say, every play has a chance to be the play that he decides to turn it over. Every single snap. So make him snap it again. Make him snap it again. Make him snap it again. Make him make another decision that doesn't result in a turnover. That's what you should be doing to any rookie, not just Caleb Williams, but him in particular. Every snap has a chance to be that mistake. So don't give up the big chunk plays. No explosives. Keep everything in front of you. Make them earn it. And if they do, you tip your cap. We got to communicate. The only time we give up big plays is when we get beat one-on-one, when we leave somebody on the island, right? Or we don't communicate. That's the only time we give up big plays, give up big conversions on third downs, is when we don't communicate. If we communicate, we on the same page, and we're playing as one, our fast and physical style will win out. Last defensive key. You know what it is. Say it with me. Ball is life. And I'm going to add something to that. Win special teams. I feel, and I've been hot. I'm on a hot streak. I feel that we've been forcing turnovers every week. The Bears have been dynamic on special teams. They've been dynamic. They blocked a punt, returned it for a touchdown. They've done some dynamic things on special teams. We got to win special teams. We a real good field goal kicker. Our special teams coverage units have been dynamic, but we keep forcing fumbles, but we haven't recovered one. This is the week that we finally break through and we force a special teams turnover. You heard it here first. Win special teams. Ball is life. Don't have to always come from the defense, right? Maybe it comes on special teams. L to the Izzo. He's got these boys buzzing around. We're getting Tyler Owens back. I'm just saying this could be the week. Stay tuned. Ball is life. I need it. We got a youngin' that likes to turn it over. Let's get one. Maybe two. Hell, why not three? Right? Why not a hat trick? Why the hell not? So, those are your keys to victory, and that leads me to my final outcome. This is a game, whether it's Mariota or it's Daniels, it's a win for the good guys. If it's Mariota, I think it'll be more of a struggle. I do. You know, and we're going to have to lean on the defense a little bit more, and we're going to have to lean on special teams a little bit more if it's Mariota. And maybe we don't make it to 30 if Mariota's in the game. But if JD5 is out there and he's right, I got no doubts in my mind we're getting to 30 on these boys. And I've been told by multiple Bears fans that there's no way we're getting to 20 or above 20, right? No, not on our defense. You ain't never seen an offense like this before. You ain't never seen an offense like this before. Man, they ain't never seen no defense or offense like this before. And they probably saying the same thing to us. You ain't never seen no defense like this. Bullshit. We've seen defenses like yours. Your shit ain't special. You're good. You ain't that good. We number one on offense scoring points. Boy. You finna find out why this week. We want this one bad. Bad. I haven't seen this fan base this hungry for a non-NFC East victory in a long time. It feels good. Feels good to see the base turned up behind another fan base stepping over the damn line. And these Bears fans have been habitual line steppers. Time to put their ass in place. I'm ready. Boy, I'm ready. And I know y'all are too. And I think the boys are ready as well. Anyway, I digress. That's going to do it for me, your man Louie T, here on Commanders Nightly News. I look forward to chopping it up with you guys on Sunday after the game. I'm going to be on Bleacher Report first for the first 30 minutes, and then afterwards we'll be live on the channel, and we going to have a lot to discuss. Whether it's a dub or an L, we're going to have a lot to talk about, and I look forward to chopping it up with you guys then. Once again, to the winners, Joel, winner of the tickets, hit me up, Joel. You got 24 hours. If not, the tickets go to Swaggy P. So just get at me. You got a number of different ways you can and we can get those tickets in your hands. So you guys enjoy the weekend. Take care. God bless. Y'all know what it is. Anybody, anywhere, anytime. Let's take care of business.
Here comes the diesel.
We hunting bears.
Here comes the diesel. Here comes the diesel. There's the snap, hand to Riggins. Good hole. He's got the first down to the 40. He's gone.